My partner shouted in front of the whole crowd, "You'll never measure up to what I deserve." I gave a small smile and replied quietly, "Perhaps that's true." After that, I turned away, climbed into my vehicle, and drove off without glancing back. Several hours passed, and then a message arrived from one of her close friends. "Do you know what she mentioned once you were gone?" I quickly responded, "What was it?" Her answer appeared moments later, and those few words completely turned my world upside down. "Dear friends, please consider subscribing to my channel. It means a lot for my motivation. Thank you." I'm 29, and up until 3 weeks back, I believed everything in my life was sorted out. I'd been in a relationship with my girlfriend for 4 years. We crossed paths at a common friend's birthday gathering, connected right away, and in just 6 months, we moved in together. She handled marketing for a growing tech company, always driven, always pushing forward. I admired that quality in her. I truly felt we were creating something solid. The evening everything crumbled was meant to be a happy occasion. Her team had just sealed a big contract, and she decided to host a gathering at our place. I spent the whole day tidying up, arranging things, ensuring it all looked ideal. Around 30 guests arrived, her colleagues, a few mutual friends, and some strangers to me. I was in the kitchen, replenishing the ice bucket, when her voice rose above the background noise. "To be honest, I can't figure out why I've stayed with him this long." I stopped in my tracks. She was chatting with 3 colleagues out by the balcony. I could spot them through the open door, glasses in hand, chuckling. One of them commented, "Come on, he seems decent." She let out a laugh. It wasn't a warm one. Decent doesn't fund the kind of life I want. Decent doesn't open doors to the important circles. I need a partner who keeps up with my drive, someone who's truly advancing. I remained there gripping the ice bag, sensing it slowly melting in my hands. Then she noticed me. Our gazes met for a brief moment. She didn't appear ashamed. She seemed irritated that I'd overheard. I approached steadily, placed the ice on the nearby table, and she declared it clearly enough for those around to catch every word. "You'll never measure up to what I deserve." The chatter in the room faded away. Everyone was looking our way. I could sense all the attention focused on us. My heart felt heavy, but I refused to let her see me crumble. I managed a smile. Not a joyful one, just enough to mask my true emotions. "Perhaps that's true," I murmured. Then I picked up my keys from the counter, stepped out the door, entered my car, and left. I had no destination in mind. I simply drove for hours, windows lowered, no music playing, attempting to make sense of it all. Close to midnight, I checked into a simple motel near the airport. I switched off my phone and lay there gazing at the ceiling until sleep finally came around 4 a.m. When I awoke the following morning, there were 47 missed calls and more than 100 messages. The majority were from her. Some came from party attendees. I skipped them all except one from her friend Natalie. We'd always clicked well. She was among the rare ones in her group who saw me as an individual, not just an add-on. Her message read, "Hey, I realize you might not want contact right now, but there's something you ought to know." "May I call?" I replied that I wasn't up for a call, just send it in text. The typing indicator showed up, vanished, then returned. At last, her text arrived. "Do you know what she mentioned once you were gone?" My gut twisted. I wrote back, "What was it?" Her response followed shortly. She said, "Great. Now I won't need to end things with him prior to the Monaco getaway. Dealing with Brandon will be far simpler." I read it multiple times. Brandon, her supervisor, the one she'd been staying late with for the last 6 months. The person she claimed was only guiding her career. The one who was evidently taking her to Monaco. I perched on the motel bed's edge for about 20 minutes, fixated on the screen. Then I took an action I'm not proud of, though I have no regrets. I accessed our joint cloud storage, the account for pictures and files. She hadn't updated the password. There was a folder labeled Work Travels. It contained numerous images. Her with Brandon in Miami, her with Brandon in New York, her with Brandon in what appeared to be a luxurious suite. Champagne flutes by the bed, his hand on her hip. The dates stretched back 9 months. Update when I stayed away from the apartment for 3 full days. I remained at the motel, got delivery food, and began organizing my next steps. I wasn't seeking dramatic payback. I simply aimed to protect myself from major financial or emotional damage. To start, I contacted an attorney. The lease was joint, but I'd covered 70% of the rent over the past 2 years since she was focusing on her professional growth. The furnishings, the large screen, the high-end coffee maker she demanded, we mostly bought with my money. The attorney advised gathering proof of everything, so I compiled it all: bank records, card statements, purchase receipts. I created detailed spreadsheets. I captured images of messages where she'd requested I handle her rent share just this time, which became routine. On the 4th day, I returned to the apartment. She was there on the sofa, eyes puffy as if from tears. The space still looked chaotic from the gathering. "Where were you?" she questioned, rising. I was so concerned. I placed my bag down. "Really? Yes, absolutely. You vanished without a word. You announced to 30 guests that I didn't measure up for you," I stated, keeping my tone even, too even. "What response were you expecting?" She pressed her lips together. "I had been drinking. I didn't intend it that way." "Which part exactly?" "The comment about me not matching your drive, or that decent doesn't support your desired lifestyle." Her expression shifted. The pretended worry vanished. "You were listening in. You were discussing me just a short distance away." She folded her arms. "Listen, I'm sorry if you got upset, but you've been stagnant for years. I'm out there advancing my career, networking, while your content's staying put. I require more than just contentment." I nodded gradually. "Does Brandon offer you more than contentment?" Her eyes widened briefly, but I noticed. "Who mentioned that?" She paused. "It's not like that. Natalie shared the pictures," I fibbed. I wanted her reaction, admission or denial. She chose denial. "We are colleagues. Those were business trips. You're overreacting." I took out my phone, navigated to the cloud folder, and showed an image of them in robes. Obviously in one room, obviously not conducting business. Her color drained. "Leave," I instructed. "This is my place as well. In fact, based on the lease and payment records, I've handled 70% of rent for 2 years. So this is the plan. You'll pack an overnight bag and go tonight. Then secure temporary housing while we sort ending the lease. And if you resist any part, I'll forward these images to your company's HR." I reviewed the rules. They enforce a clear no-dating policy between managers and staff. She gazed at me as if I were incomprehensible. "You wouldn't dare try me." Update 2. She departed that evening, reportedly stayed with Brandon afterward. I had the locks replaced the following day, technically breaching the lease, but I no longer minded. Fairness was irrelevant now. 2 days on, Natalie called again. "You have to know this," she began directly. "She's claiming to everyone that you were controlling, that you managed her finances and cut her off from friends." A chill ran through me. Seriously, she's twisting the narrative. She shared a lengthy post on her private Instagram about escaping a harmful relationship. People are buying into it. I was trembling. I know, Natalie interrupted. "That's why I'm informing you. I witnessed her behavior toward you, but she's skilled at this. She's positioning herself as the victim." I requested screenshots of whatever she could capture. Then I phoned my attorney once more. He recommended silence, no interaction, continued documentation. He noted defamation suits are challenging, but ongoing escalation might build a case. I didn't wait much. 3 days later, she made a public social media post, a detailed, heartfelt account of gaining strength to depart and recovering from manipulative abuse. She avoided naming me, but it was obvious to our shared circle. My notifications exploded, friends checking on me, some acquaintances messaging things like, "I always sense something strange about you." I wanted to shout. I wanted to share the photos, statements, proof. But my attorney urged patience. Then Brandon erred. He left a supportive comment on her post, mentioning support during her recovery. Someone identified him, and soon reports went to HR. Turns out several colleagues had suspicions about the relationship but lacked evidence. Her open post plus his reply sparked a formal review. Update 3. The review lasted 2 weeks. Meanwhile, I vacated the apartment completely, terminated the lease, covered the fee, and secured a modest spot in another area. Money wasn't a concern anymore. Distance was priority. Natalie provided updates. The HR probe revealed not only the relationship, but also Brandon approving padded expense claims for their travels. They'd been misusing company funds, modest sums, but significant. Both lost their jobs. She attempted calling the day it occurred. I let it ring. She left a message, "This is because of you. You destroyed my life since you couldn't accept my success. Hope you're pleased." I erased it without reply. A week later, a text from an unknown number. "This is Brandon. We should discuss." I blocked it instantly. Roughly a month post-collapse, I encountered one of her former colleagues at a cafe. She seemed uneasy spotting me, but approached. "Hey," she said, "just wanted to apologize for trusting her version without hearing yours." I shrugged. "No worries. It does matter." She continued, "She's now doing the same to Brandon, claiming he coerced her into the affair, that she feared refusal due to his position. She's blaming him entirely to protect herself." I wasn't shocked, only exhausted. "Best wishes to him," I replied. Final update: 3 months have passed. Mutual contacts say she relocated to her parents' home in a different state. Brandon's facing consequences, his spouse departed, and he's having trouble landing similar roles. I feel no pity for them. For me, things are improving, more than improving, actually. I earned a modest advancement at my job, settled into a home I enjoy, resumed gym visits. I even had a casual date recently. Nothing major, but it reminded me of conversing with someone who doesn't diminish me. Natalie and I occasionally chat. She's apologized repeatedly for staying silent longer. I assured her it wasn't her duty, but I'm grateful she spoke up. I still recall that evening at times. Standing in our shared home, listening to the woman I cared for tell others I fell short. Strangely, she was correct in one sense. I didn't measure up for her, but that meant accepting someone who disregarded my identity, my principles, and my preferred way of living. Now I measure up for myself. That's what counts.